So in Maya, there are a lot of different ways that you can select things and control things. You have things like the control curves on the rig. That's the main one. We select these to move characters around. Now, a lot of times we want to be able to select a group of them. This can be done using things like a GUI picker, which is a graphical user interface. Unfortunately, I don't have one installed on this version of Maya right here, but it's basically a plugin that you can use or a window that you can open that has a graphical user interface, a picture of the character and all the controls as buttons that you could just select and select all your controls. That's very nice. You have things like quick select sets in Maya, which is basically a way of quickly creating a little bit of code that will reselect whatever you want. So for example, let's say I'm constantly selecting this arm, these three controls here, and I don't want to always have to like click, 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 okay, find it. And then, oh, what if my camera angle is here? Now I have to rotate around, select the arm. It gets a little tiring. So I can go to, if I select all of these, go to create sets, and we have quick select set right here. So I can call this left arm. Let's just call it L arm. And then I like to add it to the shelf. So I'll just go to my own custom shelf here, or I might make my own shelf for the specific scene. Add to shelf, and there we have left arm. Click. There's the left arm. So that is a quick way to select certain things. Now, on top of that, so this just selects things, but no matter what, how to put this? It still means that we have to select the whole thing. There's a whole process to it. Now, character sets, which you can find down here, and I might have to move my camera, maybe not. So character sets right here are similar, not the same, but similar, in a sense that they allow you to set a selection of controls that give you quick access to animating just those. So let's give that a try. So I'm going to create a character set of this character's right arm, and before I do that, I'm just going to select everything and just set a key. Let's not select a key on the set a key on the ground plane there. So set a key on frame 1. This is just for comparison later on. So with that, let's take his arm. This is going to be the right arm. I'm going to go to character set and open up the character set editor. Why don't I play anymore on the weekend? I was hoping to play a video game, but I didn't have time to prep for it. With all the work that I had, in order to stream it, I have to make sure certain programs are off on my system or else it crashes the stream. And because I literally just finished work, a lot of the programs that I use for work are still open, and it is a pain, honestly, to try and close those down without going through a whole bunch of stuff. So right now, I had hoped to do some game stuff, but I might have to wait. Well, Creed, if you post a link, I could try later on, maybe. It'll depend on how much time I have. But I'd like to check it out at least. Okay, so we've opened the character set window here. Now this is the relationship editor. The relationship editor is a much bigger editor that you can actually do a lot of things in. For example, you can do light linking, which is basically having lights only affect certain things in your scene. You can have all sorts of stuff. Character editing is one part of it. So with these objects selected, what I'm going to do is go to my character sets here and hit the plus icon. So this is going to add the selected items to the character. So I'll hit plus, and you'll notice there's no character selected. Dang it. Well, that's because I actually have to create a character set first. Unlike quick select sets where you just select your items and then click, and then it'll create the set for you. You need to actually create what you want to have. So let's do that here. So I'm going to go to, and this is where I forget because they actually updated this since the last time I used that, right here. So edit, create character set, and let's open up the options. So this is where you can name your character. Now you can do a character set for the whole character. Let's actually start with that. We'll do the whole character first, just as a test. And we'll call this Jules All. And hopefully I didn't break anything because I just typed right in the viewport. You never know what hotkeys you just set. Jules All. And I'm going to make sure I include all my attributes. So right now you can see that it's only set to include the all keyable except for scale and visibility. This is actually really nice because a lot of times we don't want to animate the visibility attributes or the scale attributes on a rig. There's not really a point to it. With that said, on this rig, I know how it's set up. So I would probably just want to put all keyable or at least from channel box on. But let's actually keep it at default for now. And then redirection we don't need to worry about. So let's create the character set here. So it's going to create that. There's our Jules All with all of the controls in. There we go. So now we can actually see Jules All right down here. Now what's cool about a character set is, let's actually set this to no set for now. And we're going to just do a little bit of animation. Very rough. Nothing crazy here. I'm just going to take the head and let's say he kind of looks to the left, looks to the right. Basically, I just want some keys in place here. So like that. And just for the sake of my own pickiness, I'm going to just add some breakdowns so we get at least a little bit of an arc to the head motion. So let's see what we've got. Stretching his neck. There we go. Something. There's the motion. Now, the first thing, and this is the cool thing about character sets and why a lot of people like to use them. I will say right now, I almost never use character sets. It's just not the workflow I'm super comfortable with. I don't know why. It's just, I'm used to animating other ways. So, with character sets, the big thing is it shows keys differently. So, for example, right now, we've got our character, I've got the head selected here, but if I select the shoulder control, you'll see that those have different keys than the head, and we don't see the keys. The keys on the timeline change. If I deselect everything, there's no keys whatsoever because nothing's selected. But if I use my character set, now let's set this to Jules All, I have nothing selected right now. You can see it in the channel box. Nothing is selected. But I see all my keys, regardless of if I have something selected or not. If I select the shoulder, let's go to frame 30 and hit S to set a key. You'll notice that on every control, do that here, and actually let's see if I can show this a little bit better. Okay, there we go. How do I want to show this? Basically, all the controls get keyed now on that key. So by using a character set, you're basically telling Maya that no matter what, all of these controls are now active. They are ready to be keyed and ready for me to see it all the time. Even if I deselect everything, you'll see that my graph editor is still filled with keys. Now, this can be really cool. It can also be really annoying because sometimes you just want to focus on one thing. you don't want to look at all of your curves all the time. This is my personal reason why I'm not a huge fan of character sets. I'm very much like, when I look at one thing, I want to just see that one thing. A character set is not the same as a quick select set. A quick select set is basically a shortcut that will select all the things that you want it to at once. A character set is a way of keeping a certain selection of controls, in this case I've got all of them, in a sense active, so that you can always key and adjust all of the animation on all of those controls globally. So for example, I have nothing selected right now. I can take the last key here and retime it. Right there. It's going to be a little slow just because I'm streaming. But you can see with nothing selected, I've just selected that key and retimed it. And it's retimed that key for every single control in that character set, which is actually pretty cool. So with that, you can very easily just kind of keep track of all of these attributes and keys all the time. And you can make character sets for everything. So I've made a global character set, but I could make a character set for, and this is where I would tend to use it if I really had to, just the facial controls. So instead of having to keep track of all of the face stuff, or actually, let me put it in a way that I would actually do it. I would do a character set for just all the mouth controls. This way, when I'm doing lip sync, I don't have to keep track and make sure that I set a key on every individual control and try to find out what my timing is on the mouth all the time by selecting everything. And you can see that they're kind of a pain to select all of these all the time, and probably the jaw as well. So, and the lip. So something like that. So those are all the mouth controls. So I would go in here, go to edit. Let's create a new character set. We'll call this Jules Mouth. Now you could just call it mouth or whatever you want, but create a character set. And now I have and it doesn't look like it added the controls in for me. So let's select that and hit the plus icon. Let it load. There we go. So now the plus icon's there. It's got all the controls in. It's always good to double check. So with this, now I can switch between the mouth set, which will control all the keys on the mouth at all times, or I can switch to the whole body set. Now, in my case, if I was doing this, I would make sure that the whole body set doesn't include the mouth, so I don't accidentally key that when I don't want to. But with that, I could start doing my lip sync, and with the mouth control, or mouth set, I should say, active, I could take this mouth pose here, maybe make him smile just a little bit more. Hit S to set a key, and it set a key on every single control in that set, without me having to do anything else. I actually wonder if I'd even need to select anything. Let's actually try that. So I have nothing selected, I hit S, it set a key. So even with nothing selected, I can hit S and it'll set a key on every control on that mouth, in that mouth set. Done. So you get a lot of control with that. You can really make sure that you've got a bunch of keys organized and cleanly set up in your shot, and that you have all the controls consistently keyed. That is huge. That is very helpful. Again, I'm not a fan of it for some reason. I would rather just kind of set the keys myself. I've gotten used to that over the years, but it is a very good and useful tool. Now, let's say, for example, I've created my own mouth set, but now I really don't want that mouth to be in the main set here, because I'm just going to end up getting random keys all the time. And you can see that here. So let's actually take our mouth set. We'll put a key on frame 60. And now switch to our Jules All set, which is right here. And when I do that, there we go. You'll see that there are some keys on frame 60 right there. I don't want that. So if it doesn't automatically adjust the sets for you, what you can do is right click on here, and I believe, actually I think if you just click right in here, you can select all the controls and then remove them from the other set. Now I think it might have actually done it automatically for me, which is really nice. That might be a new feature in Maya. Oh wait, no, there's the upper controls there. Aw, did not do it for me. Darn it. So let's select these. I do love the new layout, I will say that. The old set layout, which is the one I used to use a lot, yeah, there it is, select character set members. So if I do that, that's actually going to select all the actual controls here in the viewport. So again, edit, select character set members. Now I'll just hit the negative icon next to Jewels All, and let's see. No objects were removed. Why is that? There we go. I think that did it. So with that, we now have things separated out. So I now have a set for just the mouth, one just for everything else. So that's pretty much character sets. It's a way of organizing things. There's a few other things you can do with character sets that are really useful. For example, you can use it as a sort of GUI picker, in the sense of if I want to actually select the mouth controls, I can just go to edit and select character set members. But yeah, again, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not my preferred way of working. I would definitely recommend you check it out though. Explore it. See if that feels right for you and how you like to work. The other thing I'm not a fan of in terms of character sets is, and this is kind of the big one for me, is if I set this to Jewels All, so this selects everything except the mouth, and then I select the mouth controls, they don't show up in the timeline because only the controls in the main character set are active. You'll see it actually shows up in the graph editor there, which is nice, but in the timeline, nothing. So this can be very easy to start going, oh wait, I didn't set a key on the mouth. And this is the reason I stopped using them when I first started animating. I fell into this so often, where I would start keying things, I would block out my scene, I would make character sets for everything, and then I would lose track of which character set I was on. And I would look at, for example, the eyes, and just go, man, why don't I have keys here? Okay, start setting keys and trying to repose things, and it's like, but wait, there's animation. What's going on? And it gets very confusing very quickly, and then you always have to keep switching. So now I want to animate the eyes, switch to the eye set. Oh, now go back to the mouth, move back to the mouth set, or just turn off the sets in general to see everything. It gets confusing. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like having to constantly switch. I tend to work in the graph editor and the viewport a lot. So I don't want to have to go into other areas to make sure that I can see what I want to see.